In my journey through the realm of martial arts, I have encountered a profound and often overlooked conundrum: the tension between one's capacity for violent action and one's personal ethical standing. This existential question has haunted me since I first donned my gloves and stepped onto the mat, and it has only grown more pertinent with the passage of time and my evolving roles as both practitioner and coach. This tension, I contend, merits greater attention in contemporary discussions of martial arts, as it echoes a broader human contradiction that we all must navigate. As a father and a socially conscious individual striving to raise morally upright children, I frequently find myself entangled in a paradox. On one hand, I teach my children that violence is not a solution to problems, advocating for more constructive and ethical means of conflict resolution. On the other hand, my life and work revolve around martial arts, a discipline fundamentally rooted in the mastery of physical confrontation. This contradiction becomes glaringly apparent as my children have grown up and begun to perceive the ubiquitous presence of violence in society, from everyday interactions to global conflicts and even many of our sports. However, I have always strived to make clear the distinction between violence as a harmful act and martial arts as a disciplined practice aimed at self-preservation and personal development. As Epictetus reminds us,
make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens.
The ethical quandary that I grapple with is thus: is violence an impractical, unethical, and ultimately immature means of addressing obstacles? Or is it, under certain circumstances, a necessary and justified action? Society sends mixed messages about violence. We condemn it in daily life, yet we celebrate and sanction it in contexts such as entertainment, sports, and sending young people off to fight wars. We justify this dichotomy in various ways, but at its core, isn't violent action fundamentally just that? Violence? In my teaching of martial arts, I try my best to emphasize that while martial arts involve physical confrontation, it should be understood as a tool for self-preservation, always leading to self-improvement, not as an endorsement of violence. As Marcus Aurelius aptly noted,
the best revenge is not to be like your enemy.
Reflecting on my own life, which has been marked by early experiences of violence at the hands of bullies, my mother, and even teachers, I have had to reassess my beliefs and actions. Today, I choose a path that allows me to rest easy with my conscience. I acknowledge the existence of malevolent individuals who seek to harm others, and I maintain my skills to effectively counter such threats if necessary. However, I no longer engage in violence for ego gratification or competition. Instead, I view my training as a form of play, a practice where the goal is mutual growth and skill enhancement with my partners. And as a coach, I instill these values in my students, teaching them to balance physical skills with ethical conduct. As Confucius reminds us,
he who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior.
I have always admired the depiction of what I term a mindful warrior, an individual skilled in violence, yet choosing not to flaunt it in daily interactions. This warrior moves through life with humility and assurance, opting for peace over conflict whenever possible. When confronted with the choice to fight or walk away, he chooses the latter, reserving his skills solely for unavoidable threats. Even then, he employs just enough force to neutralize the danger and then moves on, detached from the violent encounter. This ideal embodies a profound truth. By fully understanding and mastering the violence within, one can transcend it and attain inner peace. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who understood the challenges of personal mastery better than anyone, points to this when he notes,
"No man is free who is not master of himself."
His teachings emphasize the importance of self-control and inner strength, principles that are essential to becoming a mindful warrior. By mastering one's impulses and emotions, a mindful warrior can navigate life with calm and purpose, embodying true freedom and strength. To take what I have noted further, I want to consider the embodiment of the mindful warrior's way. From this perspective, martial arts at its core should not be merely about physical prowess, but about mastering one's own impulses and emotions. The practice, therefore, should instill discipline, self-awareness, and a profound understanding of one's limitations and capabilities. However, this transformation is not guaranteed by the mere practice of martial arts itself. Many modern martial arts today prioritize fight performance as the pinnacle of success, often devoid of deeper philosophical underpinnings. Here, I want to highlight something important. When I apply the term philosophy, I mean it in respect to its ancient beginnings as a practice in life. Philosophy, in its original sense, was about living wisely and virtuously, not merely contemplating abstract concepts. Thus, integrating this ancient practice into martial arts fosters a holistic approach to self-mastery, transforming physical training into a path for personal and ethical growth. As Marcus Aurelius said,
You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength.
as such, as a martial artist and teacher, I have intentionally chosen to imbue my practice with these deeper values. By setting the intention to transform inner violence into inner peace, my training takes on a different significance. This intentional approach leads to mindful warriorship and the psychological transformation that comes with it. Through this lens, martial arts becomes a journey of personal growth, fostering empathy, compassion, and ethical clarity. As such, I incorporate specific practices to fully realize this, from mindfulness practices, meditation, and ethical discussions, ensuring that my students gain a deeper understanding of the philosophical dimensions of martial arts as a path to personal transformation, away from inner violence towards oneself to peace both inwardly and outwardly. Again, Epictetus's words ring true here.
First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do.
Furthermore, I believe martial arts can reflect broader societal dynamics. The controlled environment of the mat mirrors the complexities of the real world, where conflicts are inevitable but need not escalate into violence. By training martial artists to navigate these tensions with grace and restraint, we cultivate individuals who can act as moral exemplars in their communities, promoting peace and understanding over aggression and dominance. This requires a conscious effort to teach martial artists to apply their skills with a strong ethical framework, understanding that true strength lies in restraint and wisdom. As Seneca reminds us,
We suffer more often in imagination than in reality.
ultimately, the ethical synthesis of martial arts lies in its capacity to harmonize the apparent contradiction between the capacity for violence and the commitment to peace. By embodying the principles of the mindful warrior, martial artists transcend the simplistic dichotomy of violence versus non-violence, embracing a nuanced understanding that true strength lies in the ability to choose peace, even when capable of force. This synthesis is achieved through a consistent focus on ethical behavior, personal growth, and the philosophical roots of martial arts. As Marcus Aurelius stated,
If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it.
the boundary between the capacity for violence and ethical standing is not easily delineated. It is a dynamic frontier that each martial artist must navigate personally. For me, it involves a commitment to ethical principles, a realistic understanding of the world's dangers, and a dedication to personal growth and peace. By no means do I claim this to be easy, but I believe by working daily to embody the mindful warrior's ideal, we work towards and reconcile the inherent contradictions of martial arts, ultimately using our skills not for conflict but for cultivating a deeper sense of inner peace and ethical living. In this journey, the journey of the mindful warrior, the practice of martial arts transcends physical training. It becomes a spiritual path, challenging each of us to confront and harmonize the dualities within ourselves and our society. By embracing this perspective, martial artists may not reshape societal perceptions of violence and ethics, but it will transform us from within, fostering a more thoughtful and peaceful existence. And perhaps, in the quiet strength of our transformation, we can inspire others to seek the same path of inner harmony and ethical living.